different prep lists of produce prep suggestions. That's the recommendation. Keep this produce that needs to be isolated from everything else.
Hey guys, Mr. Knife Fanatic here. Today I have a very special knife for you. This is the Konosuke Honyaki 270 waGyuto. We only get a few of these knives in each year. I'm very fortunate to be able to try this. This is actually a friend's knife that I'm borrowing. So, as usual, here's some specs and cutting performance. This is made of a Hitachi Shiragami, or a white No. 2 steel, and it's made of Honyaki construction, which means that it is one solid piece of white No. 2. It is not clad or sandmade construction in any type of way. This is 62 Rockwell, which is going to take a very nice steep edge. It's slightly harder than you normally see white No. 2 hardened, but the blacksmith that was working this is definitely one of the best in Japan, and he can take it to that hardness without getting any chipping whatsoever. The Honyaki construction also means that you have a natural Hamon line, which is the heat treat line. You see here, this is not just a decorative line. As you can see, it's done perfectly down both sides of the knife when they polish it up. But this is actually where the clay was applied for the heat treat. And the spine is left relatively unheat treated, which gives it a lot of toughness. And you still get the great edge taking because the blade itself, the edge is heat treated on it. These knives do come with custom handles. This one's going to be different than most of the other ones you see, although you could request one just like this. This particular one is in Boina burl with an ebony ferrule, and these are nickel silver spacers. This was probably done by Isaiah Schroeder on the website. You can contact us for that. And mirror polish is going to be on all the Honyaki series. This is going to be a little reactive, and it's going to patina, so you're going to have to keep on top of this with some flitz polish possibly, or some polishing pads, micro mesh, up to 12,000 grit will take care of that. The blade length is actually 270 millimeters from heel to tip, slightly shorter than advertised, nothing wrong with that. It is 52 millimeters tall at the heel. That is slightly tall for a Gyuto. I'm going to say that there are taller knives on the market, and personally this is not what I would call a very tall knife, but it is not a short knife. And as you can see here, let's get down to the heel. And we're talking about 51, 52. There we go. The thickness is 3+ millimeters. I say 3+ because it can be 3.1, 3.2. Might be slightly different. This is a handmade knife, but as you can see, it is perfect fit and finish. Nice rounded spine, polished. Also a nice rounded polished maki and choil here. And has a nice distal taper. As you can see, it gets down the blade. It gets thinner as it goes. You're getting down under 2 millimeters here already, and down to about 1 millimeter as you get into the curve of the tip here. This is a paper thin tip. The knife is pretty much a rigid knife. You really can't get any flex out of it, although it is not dead stiff. I think that is due part into the heat treat. This gives you a softer spine, which gives you a lot more natural feel to the blade. It's a really nice feel to this blade when you're chopping with it. Ballast point is going to be slightly dependent on your handle material. If you have a heavier handle material or a slightly thicker handle, which this is a medium to large size wah handle, it's going to be a little bit further back. This still happens to be blade heavy, which is going to be right there, which is slightly behind your pinch grip when you're on the blade here. But there's plenty of blade weight that will still get through everything. As you can see, it is 235 grams altogether. If your balance point is anywhere in front of the handle and you do have substantial weight above 200 grams, you're going to have good chopping power regardless. We have a great 50-50 convex grind. It's going to be great for left and right hand users. I call it convex laser because it has been perfectly convex for non-stick properties, and it is paper thin behind the edge. This sharpens up very fast, and I actually sharpened it to a 2000 grit shaft and edge. Sticks to my fingernail very well. We didn't take it too sharp. Well, we're going to see how she performs. I have a lot of ingredients to take care of today, guys, so here we go. First off, I'd like to take care of a tomato here. Just going to do a little slice on it. You can see how thin this knife just will pretty much laser through everything that it gets a hold of. 2000 grit edge, and nothing too special, but as you can see, it's not the edge, it's the grind of this knife, and it is a very paper thin grind. Not many knives can do that clean with 2000 grit edge. And let's do a little bit of a dice on an onion. I actually have 2 onions to take care of today. So we'll do a couple different techniques. And that is incredibly good. No force at all to get through. I mean, I'm literally playing with it a little bit, so wow. It is among the best, if not the best ground knife I've ever used, and it actually sticks into the cutting board just a touch. Doesn't get any easier than that, guys. This really is what we call the real McCoy. Some knives in the knife world are called Honyaki just because they're made out of a single piece of steel. But what we're really talking about is having the Hamon line on there, and not all knives have that. It is something that's very hard to perfect. And there we go. We get a little bit of rocking action here. We do have a nice sweet spot on this and a gentle sweep up here. Nice thin tip. I think you can get a lot of different work done with this knife. It's going to be good for just about all users. Very nice. Do a little bit of a chop here on this onion, or a julienne as I like to call it, even though I don't think it's a true julienne, some people tell me. Do a little bit of a pinch grip on it. And as you can see, despite being such a big knife, I mean 260 millimeters long, it just flies through everything, and the weight is right there on that pinch grip. It feels very nimble in the hand. It's I can describe it as maybe feels like a very nimble miniature sword in a way. It's an incredibly well balanced, incredible feeling piece of cutlery. And I think for the last here, we'll just do one more dice because I like doing diced onions. I do way too many horizontal slices, I know, but hey, I'm a home cook. You can see not much sticking at all. Some people do worry about sticking with a mirror edge, and no sticking to worry about there. Really nice. I really haven't run into a knife with a mirror edge that really has too many sticking problems. Unless it's a flat ground knife, and usually you run into that on a cheap blade like a, well, I won't even mention some of the brand names, but yeah, you know, some of your run-of-the-mill like Walmart knives and things will have that flat grind, cheap mirror finish, and everything sticks to it. But this, everything slides right off. It's incredible. We have an assortment of bell peppers to take care of today. A little stem in the way there. Can go ahead and roll this one. Whoa, we missed there. There we go, we got rid of all that. Some people probably like to take that a little bit off too. I will for food saving purposes. I'll roll this one as well. And as you can see, when you get into this little tip area, when the knife gets shorter, you can do that nimble work and just roll through things very fast. Very nice. And we'll go ahead and pretty much going to dice all these up. So let's get on with it. Show you a little bit of rocking. And I am redoing this video. Last time I forgot to sharpen the knife. And the heel of the knife was actually dull, and I got called out by a lot of people, so I sharpened it up a little bit for you this time. I do appreciate the honest feedback, guys. Here we go. Nice smooth rocking action. The profile is perfect on this knife. The profile is perfect, the fit and finish is perfect, the grind is flawless. I have not seen a grind as perfect in my life. Maybe Pierre Rodrigue or Devin Thomas can, you know, give you a grind. Possibly Mari Carter even can give you a grind like this. But you're not going to get a grind like this on any other knife, period. Just not going to find it. It's as good as it gets. It really is. Easy draw cuts with the tip. I'm not really sure how many different techniques we can use on bell peppers here today. But as you can see, the 2000 grit edge on this steel does incredibly well. A nice carbon steel like this is going to take that edge a little bit better than most other knives. So let's just go ahead and dice some of these up for you real fast. I actually have a big cutting board here and I'm almost running out of space, right? Let me just get everything in. Actually, we'll do this with no hands because I know the knife is thin enough to do it. You can see we didn't miss one. Very nice. Yes, I am very, very pleased with this knife. That's all I can say is I dreamed about using one for a long time. If you've seen them on the website, I'm sure you've dreamed about using one. And I can tell you, yes, it lives up to the hype. It really does. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and chop these here. It's a pleasure to use, it really is. Doesn't matter if your skills are good or not, once you get through the ingredient and feel how nimble and how much this thing drops through everything you cut, you don't care if your skills are good or not. It's the joy of cutting. And we'll chop the next one with a pinch grip instead of a racket grip as I was doing before. I am not scraping the edge, by the way. If you see, you can push the ingredient away by slightly lifting your knife up, tilting it, and just pushing your ingredients away. We stuck into the board there. Very thin knife, extremely thin. I really cannot tell you how well it performs. I hope some of that comes across on my new camera here. By the way, a new 1080 camera I bought just for you guys. Stuck into the board again. It is extremely thin. It really is, but it is still every bit as sharp as when I started the video, to be honest with you. This white number 2 has been perfectly forged. There we go, we get these off our board. I have one last ingredient, a little bit of a piece of celery. I know it's nothing too exciting, but the show must go on. Let's see how flat of a sweet spot we have up at the tip here. You can see there's a little bit of reactivity going on too. I hope the camera can kind of pick that up. We're getting a little bit of patina going on already. I haven't really wiped the knife off too much during this video. There was tomato and onion, which is a lot of acid. There's a very wide piece of celery here. What type of sweet spot do we have? Well, did I get it through? I don't know, we might have accordioned it a little bit. As you can see, we got through most of all of that pretty well, and there is a good bit of curve here. So I'm sure anything about, let's say 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide would actually be able to be chopped with the tip as well. And we'll just get the last one off of our board here. I am holding back a lot too. The knife is doing all the work. I'm not really pushing down. Well, I'm holding back when I'm cutting. Takes a little bit of experience to get used to quite such a knife, but might be a little bit much for some home users. Depends on how nice of a cutting board you have, I suppose, or how much space you have to work with. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me cut some ingredients with this lovely knife. So please stay tuned and stay sharp.